Why don't we do Luke Goes Back to PAX first? Okay.
Yeah.
The only comment here, look at how useless the doc is here. My only comment here is Blue Water Grill is amazing. So, okay, help me out here.
I was going to write more notes for
Context,
it. And then I was
please.
Like, I'll just remember everything. It's fine.
And how'd that go?
Really well, actually. I remember everything. It's okay.
Okay.
Except for one extremely important detail, which I can look up.
You heard it from Luke. I remember everything. Luke Lafreniere, 2024.
Maybe don't extend that too far.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, I went back to PAX. It was an extremely last-minute decision, like... in the week
I didn't think you were going.
PAX, I wasn't.
Yeah.
I had told people I wasn't going. And then I think it was like days before PAX, I was like, oh, I'm going. I was only able to go for one day. So after WAN show last week, Linus and I went and looked at the Badminton Center for a little while. And then after midnight, I finally went to go drive down to Seattle. So I didn't end up getting there until like 3 a.m-ish. Slept for, a few hours, I guess, because I should probably still be down there for when the show floor opens.
Yeah, buddy.
And then stayed up until I think it was about 3 a.m. again before starting to drive home.
Nice.
Didn't get home until like 5-ish Sunday morning, and then had to go to my niece's birthday party breakfast, which started at 9.
Nice.
So I had a heck of a weekend.
So it was a PAX weekend.
It sure was.
Nice.
But I was only at PAX for one day.
Okay. This is still zero useful context, but thank you for that delightful and heartwarming story.
There was
I
some
hope your
things
niece had a
about
wonderful birthday.
One is, I think, there we go. I got
Little
the
kid
information
birthdays are always funny to me. They have no idea what's going on.
I have no clue at all.
Yeah.
So she's been scared of me. I'm going to tangent really hard here for a second. She's been scared of me forever.
I don't blame her. I'd rather deal with a bear. I mean, a real one.
My goodness. Oh, okay. Yeah, so she's been, I don't know what it is. She just has always been very standoffish of me when I'm in person. They'll put on like the WAN show or something, and she'll point at me and know that it's me and be all happy. And when she goes to bed, she'll like say goodnight to everyone in the family, and she includes my name. Like, she seems to like me when I'm not there.
Right.
But when I am actually there, not so much. This time, there was like the tables that we were at had tablecloths that draped over. And she was sitting in I think it was my mom's lap, who was sitting next to me. And I looked at her and tried to talk to her, and she kind of stared at me for a second and then got under the table and then was like, hello, and started replying because she didn't want to look at me.
Kids deal the sickest burns because they have no filter. They just do what they feel, you know?
So brutal. Hopefully she'll,
I'm sure she'll get over it. She just needs to accept
my presence eventually.
She needs to get a little closer to your size, and then she might not feel like the tables are so one-sided here.
Yeah, maybe that's part of it.
Yeah, little kid birthday parties have always been funny to me because, like, man, especially with our first, when we were mostly dealing with other first-time parents and stuff, like the kinds of productions that people will do for a 1-year-old or a 2-year-old's birthday. And I would always just be looking at this going like, they aren't going to remember any of this. And when you try to sit them down in their teens or 20s and show them pictures of it, they're not going to give two hoots because they literally won't remember any of these people either. Like, This is, as long as you fully recognize that this is all for you, then they would have been just as happy with, like, I was going to say some packing peanuts to play with, but at least not without supervision. They would have been just as happy with an empty cardboard box to crawl around in. Then okay, you do you, but the amount of money people will spend on these parties, it just blows my mind. Anyway, I'm sure
theirs was chill.
Knowing your family, it was probably fine.
Yeah, theirs was fine.
Yeah.
And everybody had a good time. It was all good. But yeah, I know. Anyway, okay. Rewinding for PAX.
Yeah, Blue Water Grill.
The story of we're not at Blue Water Grill yet.
Okay,
the story of getting down there is interesting because this is important because I forgot the name of the place.
Sure.
The story of getting down there is interesting because I did detail how late we got there. Right. So we didn't end up getting there until almost 3 a.m.
Right.
I went down with one of my buddies that I've known since like high school, and the room that we were supposed to get had one bed, but it also had a pull-out couch.
Mm-hmm.
So we were like, okay, cool, you can crash on that. We get to the room that we were supposed to have. There's no pull-out couch. Okay, cool. So we get checked in, no pull-out couch. I don't really care. I'm like, we can just do the over-under sheet thing. I've done this 100 times. It doesn't matter to me. But he was like, and I was like, I mean, we technically booked a room that's supposed to have this thing. We can call them and like see maybe they have another room.
Yeah. I'm sure they had plenty of rooms. I mean, it's not like it's the biggest event in Seattle.
Turns out, well, I mean, they still had tickets a couple days before the event. They didn't sell out, by the way. They used to sell it like that. You had to scrape the site to be able to buy tickets because they sold out so fast. They did not sell out this time.
Oh, that's rough.
Apparently, a lot more people went this year than last year, and they're expecting that growth to continue because there's like this resurgence post-COVID.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So it's probably fine, but yeah, I don't know. But anyways, so they okay, sounds good. They switch us rooms. We get in there. We take a second to properly investigate because lo and behold, it's the same room effectively. It's on a different floor. There's still no pull-out couch. We don't know what's really going on.
Okay.
So we call down again. It's now been like half an hour.
And it's pretty late.
Really just want to go to bed.
Yeah.
But they're like, we can bring you a cot. And we're like, okay, sure. The cot rolls up. It takes a while, but it rolls up. Looks amazing. It's just a full-size mattress on a wheel frame. So It's like sick. Sounds good. We start going to bed. He gets inside. He's like, why is it so cold? And I'm like, what? And he gets up and starts feeling around. The whole cot is just, not the whole cot. About 30% of the cot is just soaking wet. Like drenched. So we call down and we're like, what the heck? They're like, okay, we can like try to bring you another one. They end up calling us back. We don't have another one. So we're like, okay. And they're like, well, we can just bring you like some extra blankets or something.
Bring you a hairdryer.
We're like, sure, whatever. Like it's now been like an hour. Just if you're going to do something, great. If not, like whatever. 20 minutes later.
Yeah.
It's been a long time at this point. Yeah. I'm actively trying to fall asleep. I'm in bed. 20 minutes later, they call back up. Hey, we're trying to find you a cot. Just stop. At this point, I don't care. I gave them like tons of bedding from the main bed. We just layered it up. It was fine. It was all good. In the morning, I'm like, can you guys like do anything
about this, by the way? Because that was like, we not only did we not get what we paid for. Yeah. I feel like someone's about to get called out here, but carry on.
Yeah. But also, after multiple attempts of not getting what we paid for, it took over an hour that we wanted to sleep and we couldn't sleep. And the Westin said no.
They said no.
They said no because I booked it through Expedia, apparently. Which is not fair. And I'm not going to stop because I like Expedia personally, but this is not sponsoring us.
That's garbage.
So annoying. It was incredibly frustrating. It was a huge waste of time.
Literal garbage.
Soaking wet bed. And then we went to Blue Water Grill. The reason why I wanted to call them out is because amazing restaurant that we used to go to every time we went to go to PAX, and it was packed every time we went there. You had to wait in line to be able to order. We walked up, nobody there.
Really?
Food still amazing. They said that there's a new convention building.
Yeah.
So they're still using the old one, but they're also using this new one. And they said that they think it diverted foot traffic because now people are going
it's like
to
not on the path now or whatever.
So people are going to restaurants that are in between the two buildings. They're not going to Blue Water Grill. Blue Water Grill has had to pull back their hours because PAX isn't the only convention doing this. So they used to get tons of traffic from the convention because they're really close to the convention center. So maybe check out Blue Water Grill. The food's still amazing to make good stuff. PAX itself was fun. The gaming halls, spent about 3 or 4 hours checking those out and then was completely done and okay with it.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Not that interested. There's this new theme where all the games are handing out like cards with QR codes on them to wish list their game.
Oh, okay.
So back in the day, you used to get like shirts, and now you just have like a stack of
cards.
I
could see people getting into that.
It might be more effective for the developers and publishers.
Yeah.
So like that's cool.
How about we meet in the middle?
That would be nice.
Shirts with big QR codes on them.
Horrible.
Free clothes for Luke, and you get people to wish list your game.
Whenever you take a photo of someone, it's like that'd be pretty funny, actually.
We should do
there
it.
was some.
We should do it. Just like
it'd be the
QR
float plane
code
shirt could have like a QR code on the back of it.
Dude, I'd be so down.
That'd be sick.
People are saying that apparently it is standard practice that there's nothing that they can do when you book through third parties. And I had a similar experience.
That's ridiculous, though.
Okay. Oh, you know what this reminds me of? If you sign up for a subscription service through the Google Play Store, they like can't do anything for you.
I've noticed that.
You have to.
I've had that problem before.
I actually hate that.
Me too.
By the way,
that's insane.
But this may not be the Weston's fault entirely. Okay. They should have dealt.
My rebuttal to this.
I'm not taking a side. I'm not taking a side.
All right. My rebuttal, and I left the lady at the counter that said like we can't do anything. I left her alone. It's not she can't do anything about it. It's not her fault, to be super clear. But I don't believe that. Because none of this was Expedia's fault. They gave us the wrong room.
Yep.
They gave us the wrong room again.
Yep.
They gave us a wet cot, and they failed to solve that problem. Expedia did none of that. So, like, I'm sure there is something that you could do, and you're just trying to get away with it. That's how I feel.
I mean, at the very least, what they almost certainly could do is give you a voucher for the in-hotel restaurant.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Something.
At the very least, they should be able to do that.
Something.
All right. What is our next thing, Dan? Hit us.
Sure, let's do some merch messages. And
One last thing about PAX. They did massively expand the tabletop areas, though. And those are super sick now.
That's pretty cool.
They're like actually really cool. They have a huge tabletop free play area where you can play all these different games that people are showing off. The tabletop expo area itself is much bigger. And to be honest, I think that makes a ton of sense because the amount of games that are publishing demos on Steam now have massively gone up.
That's great.
So you could really go to the video game area just by staying home and playing Steam demos. But the tabletop stuff, you can't experience just at home.
Yeah.
So that part was really cool.
Gaming's coming full circle. Let's go.
We're going back. Yeah. And there's some really crazy good, like the Slay the Spire tabletop game is really highly rated. The Divinity tabletop game is really highly rated. I really like co-op tabletop games. And they had a whole section that was just co-op tabletop games. The whole thing was really cool, actually. So I was happy to see that they must have recognized this as well. Like the gaming area is less interesting than it used to. The video gaming area is less interesting than it used to be. Let's maybe expand tabletop. And the new convention building was like almost all tabletop stuff, which was sick. Anyways, that's it.